fuel is getting critical, but I can't give up. There's still positions in this race as we go around the outside of Ricardo. Don't crash into me. Now then, welcome. We are in Baku for what is promising to be a really good weekend. I've always done really well at Baku, so I'm proper excited now for this race. I've had some torrid times, absolutely torrid last few races. 20th in Spain, just avoiding dead last. 16th in Monaco, where I just could not stop flashbacking. So Baku, a track where I normally do really well. Really excited for it. Really hope it's going to be a good weekend. R&D wise, we've actually fallen to second worst team. Haas have had some more upgrades, so they've overtaken us. It seems like me and Haas are sort of developing at the same speed. Likewise, the Toro Rossos and the Alfa Romeos, so we're not really gaining on them at the moment, which is a bit of a shame. But we are gaining on the midfield runners of McLaren and Renault, who just haven't done any upgrades like over the last 6 or 7 races. So it's becoming a very tight midfield battle at the moment. But yeah, hopefully we're well, it's just going to be fighting for those points sort of between 6th to 18th almost. Really tight, as there's so many good teams now, or so many equal teams in the middle of the field. But this is going to be a very long video because unfortunately, well not unfortunately, there is a lot of action that happens in this race weekend. I said it's a weekend that I enjoy, and it doesn't disappoint. It's probably the best weekend yet, so we're not wasting around. We are jumping into qualifying. Our pace week practice was pretty good, to be honest. Not really much to say. Practice programs are practice programs, so pace week practice was pretty good, as we are here now on our first flying lap, I think, in Q1. Charles Leclerc's just gone fastest, so yeah. Ferraris seem quite good this weekend as well. I know they haven't been nerfed yet, but the Ferraris seeming quite good. Valtteri Bottas was not the fastest through practice sessions. It seemed to be Lewis Hamilton followed by the Ferraris, so it looks like the update, which now has the black Mercedes out, seems to have helped Lewis Hamilton, or maybe degraded Valtteri Bottas, as he is no longer, or wasn't, top of practice sessions for once. But as we come down this super long straight, oh, there goes Charles Leclerc. I knew he set a fastest lap somewhere. I go, well, I don't go fastest. Where do I go?
Our best lap so far is at 1:40.9.
1:40.9 says Speedy Jeff, ahead of Kvyat, ahead of his teammate. So not the best time, but representable. We don't know what times everyone else has done yet. Oh, now we do. 15th apparently. So, ooh, and that is really close. There's about 1/10 splitting 13th to 18th. So it's going to be a very, very close battle here to see who can get out of Q1. And for whatever reason, it says I'm in 13th place. I'm not in 13th, I'm in 15th. I'm sure it just said I was behind Raikkonen on the timing screen, but for whatever reason, it now says I am in 13th, and we've lost time on that corner, but we pick it up on the exit. Slow entry, quick exits, that is the way to make up speed, he says. Coming into a tight and winding castle section. Qualifying is now complete, but there are cars, I can see on the mini-map, there are cars still on a flying lap. The Haas is one of them, and I don't know if that is Grosjean or if that is Magnussen. It doesn't say, it did say on the old game, on his halo, Grosjean or Mag, but it doesn't say it on this one, so I have no idea who that is. And if that's Grosjean, it's going to knock me back down, as the timing screen has corrected itself, and I am now in 15th. So it looks like we're going to be through, as I think there is a McLaren on the mini-map, but I don't think he managed to start his flying lap in time. So it looks like we might be through, but you can't take anything for granted. We're still going to improve on this lap time as we come down this very, very long straight. We've gone for max top speed setup today to try and get as many overtakes done in the race as possible. 211 miles an hour across the line. And P11, that is quick. I wasn't expecting that. 14th or 13th, but not P11. That is much faster than I was expecting. So we're through to Q2. Very good. I didn't show it. Boccolaccia is out of Q1, sort of as expected. We are technically in the second worst car. I think he got P18 or P19. I can't remember. We're in Q2 though. I've put in my bank lap on an old set of softs that I've just ran in Q1. We're miles off the pace, but it's a bank lap, so what can you expect really? We put on our brand new fresh softs and qualifying is once again complete. We are in dead last place. Ricardo's on a 1:16.5, I cross, and I'm 4/10 up on Ricardo, so it actually looks like I'm going to be ahead of P12 here. Ricardo's done a 1:40.7, I previously did a 1:41.7, I'm 1.6 up, that puts me on a 1:41. I'm going to be ahead of Ricardo. I might even get into Q3 as the second worst team on the grid on 100% difficulty. I might even get into Q3. We come down, we cross. We are P6. Ridiculous. Absolutely ridiculous. I do love this track, but we are quick. Ooh. Just to put a small tint on it, the Alfa Romeos, my nemesis, so to say, are through. Both cars are through. So they look like they're going to get some good points this weekend. Need to out-qualify them to get a good possible start here, because they're on 1 point in the Constructors, I'm on 1 point in the Constructors. So we need to do as good as we can here to get ahead of them. We are Q3. We've already done a bank lap. We're miles off the pace as expected. We are only a few, well, I think if we do a time that we did last in Q2, we should get ahead of Giovinazzi and Raikkonen. That was around a 1:40.2 I think it was, and my bank lap was 1:41.3, so if I can improve by a second, I should get ahead of Giovinazzi and Raikkonen. But everyone is out on the track at the moment. No one is resting on what they've got. There's a few cross the line just in time to start their flying lap. It looks like an Alfa Romeo is one of them. Those who aren't going to do is there's a Ferrari, 2 Red Bulls and a Racing Point that aren't going to do, but it looks like the 2 Alfa Romeos are going to get another shot at a flying lap if they want to, if they push hard enough. I am a second nearly up, so I'm nearly quick enough to get ahead of them, but it's going to be close. I mean, you've got to accept the fact that we're in Q3 anyway, but I want to get ahead of those 2 Alphas. Come through these fast corners. So easy to, well, just misjudge that and smash yourself into the wall. A second up now. Come on, push! Push! Where are we? P8! He's done it. He's ahead of the Alphas. Fucking brilliant.
We're all ready for tomorrow's race, but before we begin, let's have a quick look at those who will be fronting the grid. Hamilton, Verstappen and Sebastian Vettel. Well, that wraps up qualifying, but don't worry, we'll be back tomorrow as we head into the Grand Prix.
What a qualifying session. P8. Unbelievable.
Amazing performance out there.
It was,
sure
Claire.
You're pretty happy with that.
I am pretty happy with that, Claire.
It's been a great qualifying
It
session
has.
for you. Are you going to carry that momentum into the race?
You are damn right we are. This is going to be a hell of a race. I love this track. The car loves this track.
Do you think this team are performing as well as they could do?
Oh, who gives a shit, Claire? Why? I've just had a great qualifying session and you're asking me about fucking Red Bull. Get your shit together.
Appreciate your time.
Yeah, piss off. I just had a really good qualifying. She's asking me about Red Bull. Who cares? Asking me about me. P8. Come on. What a quali.
A warm welcome to all of you watching at home to today's Azerbaijan Grand Prix, and a race that in its short history has already proven no stranger to drama. A 4th row start is just about as likely to give you a podium as a pole position would. And remember, in 2017 and 2018, both Lance Stroll and then Sergio Perez took surprise podiums here. The Baku city circuit measures roughly 6 kilometers and is made up of 20 corners and 2 DRS zones. The circuit winds around the narrow city, through the old town, and even brushes against the city's medieval walls. However, as beautiful as the setting is, this track is also a ferocious technical challenge, where the smallest of mistakes could lead to catastrophic consequences for all of our drivers. With the race minutes away from starting, here's what today's grid rundown looks like. Lewis Hamilton lines up on pole position, and Max Verstappen lines up alongside. As we continue through the rest of the grid today, we have Vettel, Leclerc, Valtteri Bottas, and Albon, Perez, the engineer, Giovinazzi, and Kimi Raikkonen, Gasly, Ricciardo, Esteban Ocon, and Grosjean, Magnussen, Norris, Daniel Kvyat, and Lance Stroll, Boccolacci, Russell, Latifi, and Carlos Sainz will start from the back of the grid. Now, it's almost time for lights out, so let's go down to the track.
Really, Jeff? Not even going to say great qualifying session? Typical. P8, you heard, what I can't remember his name is, Crofty I think, saying then fourth row on the grid is just as likely to give a podium. Well, if we get a podium I'll be very surprised. It would be a real shock on the streets of Baku, but it's 5 lights and we're off. It's a usual very good start. Albon comes over a little bit, but we just get down his inside, and Perez and even Bottas. And we're up to P5, there's a lot of contact with Bottas. There's yellow flags, but I think that's just because everyone's going so slow. I get a warning for Bottas's collision. I'm into P5. Well, I said a podium would be a real surprise. We're into P5 already. More yellow flags down at turn 1. Again, I'm assuming that's just because everyone is going so slowly. But that is... that's an even... I mean, if I kept ahead of the Alphas I would have been happy. And we're up into P5, we're ahead of one of the Mercedes. I expect he's just going to absolutely nab me back. In fact, there was Alex Albon as well, who was in P6. I have no idea where he's gone. He's disappeared. And Sergio Perez, so I'm ahead of Perez, Albon and Bottas from the off, and I keep myself ahead of the Alphas. There is the Mercedes of Bottas, and just looking, he does have a little bit of front wing damage, assuming from my contact on his front left. And this is what happened to Alex Albon. That's why there were yellow flags. I made contact with Bottas. Bottas drove into Perez and pushed him near the wall. Perez swerved back on. Bottas Albon slammed into the back of Perez and basically lost his entire front wing. So that is, unfortunately, that's basically Albon's race over. After one turn, I mean, it's not over, but you know, he's going to have to pit this lap. So he's going to put him in plumb last by quite some distance. So unfortunate for Albon there, he's out on really the first turn. But we pick up our customary warning that we seem to get every single race at the moment for a corner cut. Pick up a corner cut on lap 1 as per usual. But what a first lap it has been. 3 places made, 3 good places. We've kept ourselves ahead of the 2 Alfa Romeos, who are probably going to be his main competitors for this race and need to score more points than them, because they are, or because we're joint in the constructors. So got to beat them. I've got Bottas coming up behind me. I'm not turning it up into overtake because I feel like he's going to get me eventually, but he's not really gaining. He's coming up the inside now. I give him space, but he is just not, he just doesn't have the purchase. To be honest, at this time in the race I didn't know that he had wing damage, so I'm there thinking, you know, come overtake me and I'll use you to get away from these Alphas, but it's just not happening. We've got yellow flags in the first sector. Is that because of this happening up ahead? We've got 3 abreast, 2 Ferraris and a Red Bull up ahead, but it's not because of them. There is a right scrap up ahead, but the yellow flag is behind us. Someone's stopping or going slowly. Sergio Perez is out of the session now. He would have been one of our main competitors for the lower points, and he's out. So that's a huge boost to me. That he was someone I would have been challenging for sort of P8, I suspect, by the end of the race. But with him out, that effectively could promote us up to P7. We could be on for his highest finish yet. I mean, we are in P5 at the moment, and yes, we were only 1 lap in, or 2 laps in technically, but Perez out on lap 1. That is very promising for some good points ahead. Hamilton's setting fastest lap. I mean, this is all playing brilliantly into the hands of Hamilton. He's in first, pulling away. You've got 2nd to 4th, battling side by side. You've got Bottas with wing damage, who just can't even get past me at the moment. And I've not got the best engine out there in the world. And Hamilton is just pulling away. He's almost won this race, and we're only 2 laps in. He's practically won the race here, pulling away with ease as everyone scraps and tussles over the remaining points positions. We've got ahead Vettel and Leclerc fighting quite feistily. Vettel falling back. They were about 3 seconds ahead, they're now only 1.6 seconds ahead. And come around that windy section. Specifically in this section, we seem to have so much more pace over the AI. I don't know what it is, but we get a second warning. That's a bit dangerous. We're having a good race so far. We don't need to be going getting penalties, Jack. 2 laps in, I've already got 2 penalties. But yeah, this section there.
Be aware we expect the grip levels to start falling away soon. A new strategy is available on the MFD.
New strategy available. Jeff wants me to do a 2-stopper. I'm already on a 2-stopper, Jeff, and I'm already stopping on lap 5. So what you're telling me is absolute nonsense. That's what I'm already doing. Yes, tyres going off. We are stopping on lap 5, so we've only got 1 more lap after this, and then we're going to jump onto a set of mediums, go mediums. But yes, the middle sector seems to be flying compared to the AI. I have now stuck it up into overtake, knowing that Bottas is just not going to gain 6 tenths down. He does now have DRS. I've turned overtake off actually because I thought I'm so far ahead, but he's gaining on me. He's gaining on me. He's not going to be close enough. He's going to try and have a go. That is contact again between me and Bottas, but I still come out ahead. Hello. Go overcook it into the second turn, but Bottas with his wing damage is not close enough. And actually looking behind Bottas, you got Raikkonen and then a nice big gap, so we've pulled away quite nicely now from sort of P8 to P10. We're making a nice bit of distance between us, so things are looking very promising in the early stages of this race. Lap 5 and I am being told to pit. The soft tyres don't have the best life on this circuit for some reason, so into the pits it is after 5 laps for our first set of medium tyres. Have a drink, catch my breath. We're only 5 laps in. It has been action packed. As well, it's a quick pit stop, but he's put me on hards. Why has he put me on hards? I said my strategy was a medium at the beginning of the race. I don't want to be on hards. I want to be on mediums. I don't want to be on hards. Why would I be medium? Why? Put me on mediums. Hopefully that'll work and it's not too late. Yes, right. Whew. Mediums. Have a drink.
Okay, stay clear of the white line on the exit. We'll receive a penalty for dangerous driving if you cross over into the track.
We've stayed clear of the white line and we are ahead of our teammate. I don't think he pitted, so we've actually had a pit stop jump over our teammate. So, lap 6, starting lap 7, we are up into P13 as a few more around us dive into the pits. Norris ahead of us, and ahead of him George Russell on a set of mediums. Norris on a set of hards. That's one interesting thing actually about this race. I'm knackered honestly. The pits, so the strategy seemed to be completely split as you got someone hards. That was a dangerous overtake. Typically on previous games that was somewhere where if you tried overtaking someone or tried overtaking the AI, they'd turn in early, they'd hit the wall and they'd plough into the side of you for no apparent reason. But we make it stick with Norris, we make very light work of George Russell. We get up into P10, we get a few more in the pits, we're up into P8. Leclerc's out ahead of us, Verstappen's come out behind us. So pitting early has clearly worked there. He's gone to hard, so I assume he's doing a soft, hard, soft perhaps. I'm not quite sure. Maybe you can make the hards last at the end. Maybe that's what the computer wanted me to do. I think the game wanted me to go soft hards till the end of the race, but I think it wanted me, I'm not sure. But looking at the strategy here, it is so split. You've got some people on hards, some people going from softs to hards, some people going from softs to mediums, some people still on the mediums. It's a really split race, and it's going to be really interesting to see where everybody ends up, because at the moment nobody seems to know what the best strategy is for this race. You've got Boccolacci who started on hards actually, so he's looking okay at the moment, but he's going to have to pit, I assume, for softs maybe, or maybe for mediums, I don't know. But yeah, the strategies are really split at the moment. Nobody seems to know what the best plan is to go ahead. Hamilton's in the pits. He's just pitted. So Hamilton, who was storming ahead of this race, I didn't actually notice this during the race, it's just flashed up on the top then. But I'm up into P7 because Hamilton, who was absolutely miles ahead and has just pitted for a set of hards, has come into the pit on the very next lap. So he must have got wing damage from someone, because he's way down now. So he's completely blown that, as Leclerc, me and Leclerc, sorry, as I drive into the back of Gasly. We're having some right battles of me and Gasly so far this season. Me and Leclerc are getting massively held up by Gasly on the hard tyres, and because we're on the mediums, we need to make light work of these people on hards. We've got to pass them as soon as possible, because they're just holding us up. We're on a completely different strategy. Me and Leclerc have gone for the mediums. We need to be overtaking people left, right, centre. We need to make this tyre advantage work, and at the moment Leclerc is held up behind Gasly. I'm held up by Leclerc. The sooner Leclerc can get past Gasly, the sooner I can get past Gasly, but at the moment we're being held up so much so that Ocon, I think it is, ahead of Gasly, has pulled out about a 2-second gap on the last sector alone because of how slow we're all going. Leclerc though, in DRS zone, you'd imagine he's going to make it work, and he does. I'm approaching on Gasly. Do we go for a dive bomb? We do! And we collide with him, not for the first time this season. We barge his way into Gasly. This is Gasly's view. Oh dearie me. Not for the first time this season me and Gasly have come together. I mean, technically on paper, me and Grosjean are rivals, but when you actually look at the races, it's definitely me and Gasly who are rivals, because I have crashed into him, I mean, so many times now. China, Vietnam, where else? What was the last race? I'm sure I've crashed into him in a few races now. So yeah, me and Gasly definitely having some pretty hard battles so far this year. But we've got past him, and we are quickly, both me and Leclerc, very quickly gaining up onto the back of Ocon. I want to stay within DRS zone of Leclerc because he is going significantly faster than me, but he's already got past Ocon and I'm yet to get past him. And Leclerc now can put his engine, his power, his tyres to use and just pull away, and I still need to get past Ocon. As we come into DRS zone, we're in overtake. This should be relatively simple, one would hope. Ocon gets DRS, but ooh, it's going to be no danger as he has a little swerve back right, but we make it stick under braking as he pushes us wide. We make it stick. He's coming back at us.
Okay, good work. Great pass.
It's not done yet, Jeff. There's contact. Contact again. And once again, no front wing damage. I have been so lucky in some of the impacts this year that I really think I should have got front wing damage, but I haven't got it. But I've been so lucky in some impacts so far this year. Verstappen gets past Ocon on the very next lap. Verstappen comes at me. I decide to let Verstappen past.
Focus. We need to stay on form.
Well, I decide to let Verstappen past, but he doesn't really have the purchase coming out of turn 1, and I just go straight back past him, probably because I'm on mediums and he's on hards. But I'm aware that Verstappen's going to be significantly quicker than me at the moment, so I let myself off the accelerator, let him through, coming down the back straight, and hopefully stick with him for a few laps, use his DRS and gain on those in front of us, so at least, you know, put in some good lap times before we pit again, because we're going to have to pit again.
We're approaching the pit
We're going to have
to. You'll be on the mediums.
There you go, as Jeff says, we're going to have to pit again for a set of mediums, so we do manage to stick with him for quite a few laps,
In this lap,
all the way through actually, until our pit window opens.
teammate behind is 32.4 seconds.
32.4 seconds to his teammates. We actually get a full pit stop over him, and we use that pit stop now. Second stop of the race, second time for a little breather.
Exit now.
Well, not as quick as the first stop,
Now. Let's get some heat into those tyres.
but we do come out and we're in the top 10 even after this pit. So we've now got 10 laps to really put these tyres to use. I did actually think for a short time about jumping onto the softs because the tyre wear is really not that bad on the mediums here, and I thought I probably could have jumped onto the softs and gone mediums and softs to the end of the race, but all my softs were slightly worn from qualifying, so I thought the easiest tyre to go for at the moment will be a set of mediums, and at least then I know they're not going to wear off. I mean, my softs that I started the race on, by lap 6 they were ruined, so yeah, I thought it's best to go into mediums. Sainz comes into the pits, that puts us up into P9. Gasly's also in the pits, that puts us into P7. Stroll's in the pits, he's gone onto softs. Oh, and he's ahead of us. That is disappointing, because that confirms that I've not got the best strategy, because he's gone hards to softs and he's come out ahead of us. I've gone softs to mediums and come out behind him, and now he's going to be on the faster tyre than me, and he's just going to pull away. So clearly then the favoured strategy for this race was to do a hards to softs or a soft to hards, and I ignored my pit crew who told me on that first pit stop to go onto the hards. They even put me on the hards, and I thought, nope, you're wrong mate, I'm going to go back onto the mediums. That's what I was told before the race was the better strategy, but clearly the softs to hards have been the better strategy on the race. So yeah, a bit of a disappointment there. The strategy might not have worked out best, and it looks like we're going to lose a position to Stroll, but hopefully we can still make up a few more places, Bottas being one of them, as we are all over the back of him. He is on very old hard tyres. Stroll's on the back of him and getting held up, which is actually really good, because if Stroll can get held up for long enough, then his tyres will start to go off. My mediums are only, I think, a lap or two older than his, so by the time his softs go off, my mediums will still be relatively okay. So if I can stick with them, if Stroll continues to get held up, I might be able to get Stroll perhaps in the last 2 laps or so of this race, depending on how long his tyres can last. But at the moment, I know I need to get past. I bloody know I need to get past. I am pushing at the moment, alright? I am pushing. Alright? So leave me alone, Jeff. Just let me freaking drive the car. I know I need to get past. We're gaining. Stroll gaining on Bottas. I'm gaining on Bottas, so only slightly, as we now went to DRS. I've got no ERS really, so I can't stick it into overtake. Strolls past Bottas into turn 1. I take my typically too deep braking into turn 1. Jeff talking about my teammate, but I couldn't give a rat's ass about my teammate right now, quite frankly, Jeff. As we come down the second back straight, Bottas of course has front wing damage after the contact on lap 1 with me. He's 6/10 up on me. He's going to be far too far ahead coming into this corner to make any sort of move just yet. And I can see the next car, I can see Ricciardo up ahead. So there are positions yet to be made. There are still positions, and in fact looking at the minimap, there's an Alfa Romeo only just ahead of Ricciardo. So there's a real chance here to still get some positions. Definitely Bottas, who are almost crashing to the back of going into the castle. Definitely Bottas, possibly Ricciardo, and possibly even Raikkonen, and maybe even Stroll if his tyres give up towards the end of the race. So there's still chance here with 6 laps remaining to get an incredible result. We are P8, which is where we qualified. We're in rich, we're in overtake. Fuel is getting a bit critical to say there's only a few laps left, but we've got plenty of time to get it back. Charles Leclerc puts in the fastest lap of the race. We should make light work of Bottas here, as we are overtaking him almost before the DRS zone even comes into effect.
Gap to the car in front is 1.7 seconds.
And that was an easy pass. 1.7 seconds to Ricciardo.
But remember, we need to get to the end of the race on these tyres.
I will get to the end of the race on these tyres, don't you worry. There's only 4 laps remaining. Make that 3 laps as I come to the end of this straight. Well, it will be 3 laps when I come to the end of the straight. Ricciardo ahead. Stroll's already got past him, and he's already up onto the back of Raikkonen, so Stroll's tyres are not wearing just yet. It looks like he might be too far, as there's only 3 laps remaining now. It all comes down to this. 3 laps remaining. We've got to push. Come on. Fuel is getting critical, but I can't give up. There's still positions in this race as we go around the outside of Ricciardo. Don't crash into me. Oh god, I do not like overtaking there. It is so tense. P6. Come on. 2.5 laps left. 2 seconds down on Stroll. There's still a chance There are still positions as we set a personal best through sector 1. And we come in, end of that lap, 8 tenths down. Didn't do too well there in the second or third sector. We haven't made any gains because of it on Stroll or Raikkonen, so they're still 2 seconds ahead. 1.5 laps left now. 1.5 seconds to Stroll. We come into the castle section, the section that I am so much faster than them on, than the AI. I was 1.5 seconds down, it's now 1.1 seconds. It's now 9 tenths. That is how much quicker. 8 tenths, 8.5. They seem to have a better exit than me, but look at that, I've made up about 5-6 tenths through the castle section. I have really got pace over them that they just do not seem to have going through that section. I need Stroll to overtake Raikkonen. If Stroll can overtake Raikkonen going down here and perhaps just hold him up a little bit, then we'd be in a good position to get Raikkonen. I cannot lose to an Alpha. I mean, I can, but I cannot lose to an Alpha. I need to beat him. I'm on critical fuel. Jeff's telling me I've only got 1 lap left. I've got less than a lap because I've still got it in rich. I do not want to turn this engine down. There is still a chance of positions. I can't lose to an Alpha who are on 1 point with joint a point in the constructors. I have to beat them. It's the final lap of the race. Fuel is absolutely critical. I will not make the end of the race at this state. But there's still a chance of positions. You can't give up. Bottas is on the back of me. If I run out of fuel, he will have me. We're almost a fifth of a lap down. We've turned it down to lean. There's no overtakes to be made in this section. We'll turn it down to lean. We'll try and get some fuel back. Hopefully we can get ourselves back on level with fuel and stay on the back of these as we come into the DRS section down the end. We're not going to overtake them through the castle, but we will hopefully get right up onto the back of them. That is how close it is between all 4 of us. It is a tense finale. Come on, keep pushing. Keep pushing. Look at that. As we come into the castle, less than a second splits all 3 of us. Less than 2 seconds splits all 4 of us from Raikkonen to Bottas. They get a better exit than me on that corner. They've done that all race, which is really frustrating, as this is vital now as you lead up to the heavy braking zones towards the end of the lap and into the DRS zone. They seem to be getting away. Raikkonen 1.4 ahead, Stroll 0.9. Sebastian Vettel wins the race. It looks like it's Ferrari 1-2. Stroll is getting away from me. A second clear. Oh, he's going to be too far. He's going to be too far. Hang on. Stroll's going slowly. Stroll's going very slowly. He's a second down on Raikkonen. There's an issue. We put it in rich. Come on. Push. No. No, I've run out of fuel. No.
That's the end of the race. We'll see you in part 5.
Oh, P6. I mean, it's a good result, but it's all so disappointing. So close to P4. If I'd chosen the right strategy, maybe it would have been better, but P6 is our best result yet.
Well, what a drive that was to take the win for Ferrari today. Tell me, Ant, how did they manage to achieve this win?
I think that smart tyre management on track and very smooth driving definitely assisted in their victory today. That combination meant they got the absolute maximum out of their tyres at all times.
And here we are, a team that is no stranger to the podium, taking their place on top once again. A sublime race today and a stunning win for Ferrari. So let's review the updated driver standings. More points for Valtteri Bottas, further solidifying his lead at the top of the table. After an incredible day of racing, who was your driver of the day, Ant?
Lance Stroll certainly put in an impressive performance today. No doubt his team and fans are extremely proud.
It's time to see how things are shaping up in the Constructors' Championship. It was a tough race for our championship leaders who lose ground at the top of the table. Another team that will be satisfied with this Grand Prix is Alfa Romeo, whose good result moves them further up the championship. And with that, we wrap up another weekend of motorsport. But with more races lined up, be sure to join us when we come back with more Formula One.
What a tough race. I mean, that is an absolutely thrilling race, but so close to P4. I think if I had actually gone with the hard tyres like the team had wanted me to, I probably would have got P4, and that's so disappointing because there's not many chances you're going to get with both Mercedes messing up, Albon messing up. It could have been P4. P6 it was though.
You're surpassing all expectations. Can anything or anyone stop you?
Honestly, I don't really know what to say. I'm just going to go Aero. I'm speechless after that race. Aero's good. In fact, my Aero is my best department,
Do you think
so
you were
we'll just
lucky
keep
not
bigging
to
them up.
end your race with that crash?
Which crash? The one with Bottas, Gasly, the second one with Bottas, the second one with Gasly. Crash into everyone.
Great. Well, that's everything.
Cheers, Claire. Yeah, I don't know if I'm thrilled to get P6 or disappointed to miss out on P4. You saw the standings. Kimi Raikkonen, because he gets P4, he puts himself onto 13 points, so he's further ahead of me in the drivers. Alfa Romeo on 13 points, so they're now further ahead of me in the constructors, when we both were previously on 1 point each. So yeah, and with both Mercedes basically being nowhere, God knows what happened to Hamilton. He was right there. He was storming ahead in the race, and then he made 2 stops in 2 laps and ended up finishing down in P9. It must have had wing damage or something, because it was just, well, very strange behaviour. But yeah, disappointing. It's a bittersweet moment. It's so good to get P6, but to lose to the Alphas, or to lose to Kimi, and to fall behind slightly was so good. And you're not going to get many chances to get some good points or to finish inside like the top 5 with Ferraris, Red Bulls, Racing Points and Mercedes, but having Perez retire, both Mercedes nowhere. Yeah, really good race, but disappointing. Anyway, we put quality control on for engine. We'll make that slightly better. I think we put an upgrade on, but I can't quite remember. Thrilling race though. Please like and subscribe, and I will see you next time for Canada.